Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Helena.
And I'm Kelly.
And we are Speaker Insight, where we help speakers, authors, and coaches, and anybody else who's listening, to build their business on your terms. So I heard someone entirely different go, oh my gosh, you do some really cool stuff. But it's really aimed at the speakers, authors, and coaches. So if you want to build a business on your own terms, really today we're going to talk about something that's dear to our heart, because we're a little bit, exactly, because we're a little bit geeky and we do like a little bit of tech, and so we won't make this a techie one, but it is based around that. So we're going to be talking about making it easy to book you as a coach, but obviously we want to invite you on. I see that there are already 4 of you here, which is brilliant. So for those of you who are not here with us live, do a hashtag replay if you're watching this, because we do like to know. And please remember that you can for sure ask your questions, and we will just answer. Tag us, don't tag us, it'll all happen in its own good way. So we're going to start with the buzz in our business. We're going to invite you to do the buzz in your business, so feel free. Alison, do tell us what's happening in your world. Amy, sending you love and tell us what's happening.
And just say hi if you're watching. We like to know. We don't see everyone's names on the screen.
Yeah, that's right, because we only sort of see them pop up every now and then, so it is really good to know. I'm going to say this.
Uh-oh.
It's the first Facebook Live of December 2019, which means things like countdowns to Christmas are happening.
Calendars are always good, right?
Which is how it works. And actually tonight we're quite excited because we are having our Changemaker Central, our membership. We are actually going out for our Christmas party, which is really rather good. So we hope that, we know that being a speaker, author, coach can be a slightly lonely business. So we hope you are, going on the back of, sort of the parties that you can actually attend. Who are the people that you can gather?
Gate crash,
yeah. I didn't quite mean it like that. I kind of meant more like the peers and I don't know what world you live in.
I went to wedding crashers.
That's a whole other thing. Anyway, I'm just going to say, sort of make sure that you are doing a little bit of balance, and we're hoping that today's live is actually going to help you do some of that. We have got a treat for you in store. This is basically not quite the penultimate. We have 2 more lives to do by the end of the year. And on the 17th, it's going to be a fairly special one because
it's our awards.
It's the awards. So
winning a prize. Hang on a minute. We've got Amy, Kieran, Alison. I can't see who else is on. Hang on. Kieran's saying the buzz in the business is the website went live and his first LinkedIn post. Nice.
Congrats.
Have you watched our LinkedIn training with Sam? If not, go to the recorded sessions. That's an awesome live.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Training.
Like seriously, start note taking.
Exploring LinkedIn, go and check out that post.
Yeah.
Alison, she has no sound, but it must be her because other people are responding. So it must be you, Alison. Maybe unmute your laptop. Or
yes,
your phone.
Who knows?
Will there be gin? Of course, Andrea. There's gin and comedy tonight, so you can't come down.
Yeah.
And Amy, big buzz. I have her text interview course built in progress to roll out in January. All
Brilliant.
of her January and February blog posts are written, and they include 2 video blogs.
Oh, get you, Mrs. You are really coming out of the box. I love it.
Sick having a quarter's worth of content created.
Yeah. No, we just follow your example and go be more Amy, which is a wonderful thing. So really, we are going to kick off by really helping you to make it easy to book you as. I am just going to say this as well. I know that it's just the start of December, and getting something in the diary, having something to look forward to may actually be the thing that you want. So if you are not a member of the Connection Hub is really where all of the conversations take place between speakers, authors and coaches, the professionals that support them, and that comes to life on the 23rd of January for the Connect and Create Day. So if you haven't yet joined us for one of those, book it in now, give yourself an early Christmas present, and know that you've got it to look forward to, 23rd of January. So we would love to see you there to kick off the year in a really good way. You get 20 minutes with either Kelly or I, you get a room full of people just like you, and you get to do some networking, finding new podcast interviewees, whatever it is you're looking for, you can really get on the day. But most importantly, it's a chance to step back just as the year gets going and really focus on what needs to get done in my business. It allows you to actually kind of, sort of work on your business away from the hustle and bustle of everybody else, which is a really good thing. So anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about technology, because we're obviously big fans of it. We're slightly geeky.
But that makes your life easy because you don't have to geek out. You just listen to our advice.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So you just absorb. So, one of the quotes that I often throw at people is an old one, William Penn. So we're talking like, America, 1700s.
Time into like a Hamilton pitch then of like.
No, I was really holding. Yes. See, I was really holding back, and now it's just going to be running in my head the whole time.
Sorry.
Sometimes you may not like the people you work with as much as you normally do. Anyway, especially when they place earworms in. So I'm going to try and be professional now and actually tell you what I was going to tell you, which is time is what we want most, but what we use worst. And I think that's a really true thing for a lot of us working on our own or working with a disparate team in some way. And so really, we want to make it easy for people to book you. And one of the best ways to do that is to manage your diary, because you're in charge of your diary, or at least you're supposed to be.
Most people, they're not.
Yeah, exactly.
Their diary is the reaction of their clients.
And that's exactly it. So how many of you here follow your diary religiously? The answer is probably true. But how many of you stop to think about your diary and what you're putting into it? That one may not be as true. Because here's the thing, time is really one of the key sources of frustration for all of us. And you are too busy to waste time trying to kind of go back and forth and try and fit appointments in some way, shape or form. And the point about living in the 21st century is that you don't have to. You can actually use technology in a variety of ways to help you manage that part of the process so that you can get on and deliver. And that's really what we're all about. We want to share with you the things that work, that help you really take charge so that you can be out sharing your message as much of the time as possible. So if you are using a scheduling software of some kind to kind of do the heavy lifting for you, good for you. And we would definitely, we hope that we can actually help you tweak a little bit of what you do. If you are not, then this is for you to actually have a think about, how could I use something like that in my business to really take care of myself and my time, because time is our precious thing. So really, we can't influence the flow of time, but we can manage the process of how we use it and how other people book into our time. So for you to be a master of your time, this is what you need. So we're going to talk a little bit about why you need a scheduling system, even if you think you don't, and what you can actually do with it and how easy it is to actually set it up. So that's really
and
what we're going to talk about.
At the end, as always.
Of course, there's a treat for you at the end.
And we've done a live about productivity and time management before.
Yeah.
So again, go and watch that one back. Kieran, no appointments on Tuesday at 1 p.m. Diary is busy with you, lovely lady.
I should hope so too.
Thank
well,
you.
That is an appointment, my dear, and it's an appointment we appreciate you keeping.
Very important appointment. And that's the type of thing.
That's the thing, right?
So in that live, and again, do go and check that out, because we're not
Yeah.
going to be talking so much about managing your time. This is more about managing the software that manages your time.
Yes.
But, we have days where we only work on Speaker Insight one day a week, which
Yeah.
is our Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Because we have 4 other businesses that we do.
Yeah.
But you might have a day where you've just got prospecting meetings, where you're out and about and you're networking, you've got discovery calls. You might have a day which is purely for creation of content of new products. You might have a day which is delivery. You might have a day of admin and finance and all those types of things. So it's about structuring your time
Yeah.
so that when you have got appointments of, people that are booking in to be interviewed by you, or discovery calls or coaching calls,
Yeah.
you don't have to be doing the admin of that. You use the software and
Yeah.
you schedule that time in the software,
Yeah.
so it knows that Tuesdays is the only day people can book on appointments with you.
For example. Or it might be that actually your rhythm is such that you don't do people in the morning, but in the afternoon you're more than happy to do that. So you can tell. I just know you, babe. I just know you.
Don't speak to anymore before 10 o'clock.
Well, this is exactly it. I sometimes fall into that earlier slot. But the point here is that you can be in charge of your diary even if you've got technology supporting you with it.
Yes.
And that's what we actually want you to begin to realise.
Because a lot of people don't give their diary away to a software or technology because they're like, oh, but then people are just going to be able to book up any old slot. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
no.
No, that's not how it works. So this bit here is just to understand why you might need it.
Yeah.
So if you're experiencing, for example, the first one is frustration, right? And time, just vampires going back and forth. Could you do Tuesday at 1? No, I can do Tuesday at 3. I can't do Tuesday at 3. I can do Tuesday at 4. That go back and forth is probably the most frustrating thing in the world. And don't get me wrong, you might have an admin VA, PA that does that for you.
Great.
But
And
you're paying that person to go back and forth and do that. So a lot of the VAs that we work with will charge, and they'll give me a report on a weekly basis of what they've done.
Yeah.
If I see a lot of that chunk time is actually going back and forth, scheduling appointments with people, use software, get them to set up the meetings in the software and then let go.
Yeah.
Right?
And the thing about it is that the software will be a fraction of the cost. Even the software plus them scheduling the software is a fraction of the back and forth game that actually happens. Never mind the frustration.
Yeah. So the other thing that helps is it actually makes it much easier, as the title of this live, for your prospects to actually book and engage with you.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you they're on your website and they're looking, you've convinced them with your sales video and they just wanted to book that discovery call. So say, for example, people might come across and see the retreat that we run, where you have to have a discovery call before we even allow you to book on, because we want to make sure you're the best fit. You could actually have that rather than email me or do whatever, which then gets lost. You can actually book in the appointment straight away. So it makes it streamlined and really easy.
Correct.
Wherever you're at. It could be the fact that you're at a networking event and they go, oh, can we have a call to carry on this discussion next week?
Yep.
You basically send them straight there and go, yeah, book in now.
That's exactly
Let's
it.
not lose the momentum of the moment of them actually going, this is a great conversation, let's continue it.
But I will just say this, just because the networking word's been mentioned. Also, it's a brilliant link to put on the back of a business card, because actually when they do finally a month later down the road go, do you know what? I actually do need to speak to that person. They can literally just go and book in with you. Ta-da!
You know that when you're at an event or when you've watched a webinar, or you've got that email and you're in the moment.
In the energy.
If there's any delay of the call to action happening then, the dissipation rate is extreme of then, oh, I forgot to do that, or it's just not coming up.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're making the most of your marketing efforts.
Yeah.
By having this link wherever you go, so people can take action straight away. You'll be so surprised on your conversion ratios and how much they improve when people are in the energy of that email, that webinar, that networking meeting, and then they can book the call straight away. It then goes straight into their diary, so they don't even have to have a paper diary with them. I've just seen my mother join, and I know. She lives by her bloody paper diary. But anyway, it will go into their electronic diary, and it's all so streamlined, and you can customize it so that, say, for example, they have to fill in a little questionnaire before the call. So all of these things, God, I didn't send that person that questionnaire and I got a call on Monday. Yeah. It's streamlined for you. It's so good.
What I was going to say was that actually the other thing about it going straight in is that most of these systems today actually integrate with all sorts of other things. So if, for example, you are doing a Zoom call or a Skype call, you literally can schedule that into the links into the actual diary appointment that's put in their diary, making the show up rate so much more.
Where's the Zoom link? I didn't get the email, it went into my spam, all of that crap basically, which is this frustration of how much time are you wasting on these small bits, or your VA's wasting.
And the thing is that you actually get to write. And again, this is the piece where with everything, and we're going to say this, and we are big proponents of this because we help speakers, authors and coaches to really manage their businesses. We're big fans of do it once, do it right, get it set up so that it's actually set up, ready to go. And the thing about most of these systems is that you can actually write the message that actually goes out to people, again, scheduled without you actually doing anything, so that it's in your tone of voice, you are actually asking the questions that you want, but also you're sending the email to them that says, hey, I am so glad that we get to spend a little bit of time together. If that's your style, it could be a lot more professionally toned, if that's, sort of the way that you operate in the world. The point here is that you can customize so much of the responsiveness to it, and people know and trust technology enough these days. I remember a time when I used to recommend this to people, probably about 6-7 years ago, and they'd be like, I don't think I could do that. Yeah. But nowadays, people are so accustomed, and actually they almost demand it and expect it. So there's a credibility thing that goes on with this as well, right?
And remember, as Helena said about the integration bit, not just with maybe the Zoom or the Skype that you're using, but also with your CRM system.
Yes.
Because so many people make appointments via email, and then they don't then put that information into the CRM system to say, oh, they've had a discovery call, or they're a prospect for this event, or whatever it might be. That all happens automatically if you link your CRM system up.
That's exactly
to your
it.
Appointment scheduling software.
I've just had a thought. It's the perfect kind of thing to come and do at a Connect and Create Day, actually.
Yes,
I was literally just thinking that.
So what we're looking at here is it's reducing the need for a VA or a PA if you're not at that stage at the moment where you can afford for an hourly VA or a PA to work on your stuff. Remember, they're not always full-time or part-time employees. They're normally on a freelance basis. But even if you're not ready for that, this is your first step to outsourcing and trusting and having that component done. It's easy to make sure that you can book those appointments on the fly.
Yes.
When people don't have their diaries to hand, when people don't know, because you literally just hear, I don't know what I'm doing, but I know I have appointments on Tuesday. Click here. These are my free appointments.
And the thing about that is you manage your own diary, and as soon as you book in something with someone, even if those appointments were in your scheduling software, that now shows as busy and those appointments go away. So there is no chance of clashes.
And that's what we love as well, because the other thing which we harp on a lot about in our Changemaker Essential is about your capacity.
Yes.
So if you know you only want to do 4 discovery calls a month, once those 4 are booked up, whoop whoop, right?
And
you don't have any more in your diary. They roll over to the next month.
That's it.
Because I think a lot of people that are in service-based businesses are yes people. And when someone goes, oh, can I have a discovery call? And you haven't got these targets in place, these systems in place, you might actually go, I've done 16 discovery calls this month, and actually,
what have I got to show for it?
But if my conversion ratio is high, I can't take on that amount
That's
of clients.
right. That's it.
So this is another way of really making sure that you're doing the business on your terms and you're in control.
Yep. Okay, cool. I thought you were going to say something there, so it's all good. So the thing about it is that you really are in charge, and there are systems out there that help you be in charge. So we've established why you need them. So now it's all about, okay, well, how do I choose which system to go with, and can I afford it? Is a question that always comes up. Well, the good news is that most of these types of things are either free, or certainly have free trials so that you can work out, is this the right system for me? But most of them, I can honestly say, are less than a VA or a PA's hourly rate anyway, on a monthly basis. So, it depends what you actually want from it. And there's a whole set of features that you can actually book in, look at, that actually you may or may not require. Now, one of the things that I absolutely love, right, is the fact that a lot of the systems these days now have integration with Stripe or PayPal or SagePay in some way. So literally on my system, I have a sounding board session that is X amount of pounds that people can literally book in for, pay the money, It's in their diary, they've paid me, they get sent the actual form of the questions that we need, and we both show up on the call because it's in their diary, it's in my diary, and the money's in the bank. Like, what's not to love about that?
Takes the payments as well as does the booking, as well as does all the prep work of what they need to complete, survey, questions,
That's
forms.
it.
And you can even get them to send reminders
Yep.
so that you can say an hour before the call's
No,
about
no,
to
no, no.
happen.
You shall get them to send reminders.
And just picking up on Kieran's point here about what about adding buffer times
Right.
in before and
So-
after the call?
So what I was about to come to that. So a lot of the systems these days actually now understand that buffer time is a really important thing. So you can actually do the consideration of, okay, well, that session, for example, is a 90-minute session. But most of the systems these days are intelligent enough to understand that you could have 3 different types. You could have a half-hour discovery call. You could have a 45-minute accountability call that your clients book in for. So one for your prospects, the half-hour discovery call, for example. The client calls that actually book in for their next month's session, they could actually exactly, sort of that go in. And you've completely made me forget. Or the kind of call that I've just actually done, which is like your ad hoc training type calls or classes, because you can also use them for classes that you actually put on, master classes, that type of thing, that are paid for things. So you've got 3 different types of things sitting there that you, again, like Kelly was saying, the chances are that in my world, you will absolutely have a run of discovery calls, because when you're in the run of it, you're not switching energies, and that's absolutely important. But if you know that actually somebody probably needs 2 half-hour sessions rather than 1 half-hour session, you just get them to book that in, and the system will work out the buffer time around it. So you can set it up.
Though, right?
You absolutely have to, because here's the thing. For my sins, I remember actually doing 17 half-hour calls in one day. That was, well, it was the nature of the beast, the way that it actually was, but I learned my limits. And you can actually, you get to cancel out. When you see your diary start filling up because of the way that the appointments go, you just go, right, no more appointments on that day. So you're still in charge, and that's really important.
But I know Kieran's a lot about energy as well. So sorry, I've got a really bad throat today. It's about the fact of making sure that you've got the time to shift from one energy of a client to another.
Yeah.
The time to write some notes up that are in the moment.
Agreed.
So you can actually capture either the action points from the call.
Yeah.
Make sure you've got time to go to the loo and have a drink and all those types of things. So when you're actually planning in your appointment scheduler software, you set the time.
Yeah, so you can set a 40, so you can actually set a 45 minute, so with every appointment, you can set a 45-minute appointment with a 15-minute buffer. So even if somebody books it at 1:35, the system will book it in such a way that you still have your 15 minutes. Yeah. So it's really vital that you think about that piece, because the system isn't going to think about that for you. So there's still something about you driving the diary, you being in charge of the diary, but making it do the heavy lifting in that way. Yeah. So the other thing is that by its very nature of what we're talking about is you literally, most systems these days will integrate with Xero or your accountant software in some way, with your scheduling software, with your CRM in that way, but also, of course, with your diary, and it will synchronize across your diary. And that's really vital, because that's actually the thing that then means that no double bookings ever get made. So there is a little bit of tinkering to do once you make a decision to actually take on a system like this. But it'll be one of the best decisions that you ever make.
And just on that, I know that Jack and Leah, they're on their way to the Christmas party. But I'm on the coach, I'm on the train.
Yay!
Good to see you tonight. But on that, one of the things that's a bit of a bugbear with me when people actually use scheduling software is make sure that you name the session appropriately.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people actually just put Kelly Tyler, and I'm like,
no,
I don't need to know that it's an appointment with me. Who am I speaking with?
Yeah, that's right.
Make sure that it's like a discovery call for this with that person.
Yeah,
so the
sounding board session, and usually brackets your company name as well, particularly if it's around the discovery call, or your name if that's who they're actually doing it with. Because remember, this goes into their diary. So again, I'm always going to come from a for intentions perspective. You know, what is it that they are receiving from you that allows you to actually see how that is? And if you then want to go in once the appointment is booked and actually change it and put their full name in, by all means do that. But you have to make it so easy for them. Back to that point we were making earlier on. You want the conversion to be as easy as possible. You don't want any complexity. So one click does it all. And that takes the preparation up front. Yes, we are very hot on the preparation up front.
I'm laughing at Alison, you're a legend. 17 calls in one day. My one day personal best is 14 beers and 17 tapas.
Seriously, I would have rolled on 17 tapas. That's awesome.
14 beers?
I know. Good point, well made. Once upon a younger time, I feel would definitely have been it. But yeah, that was a big one. That was a big one. So
we've got, and remember, you've got the customized emails that come afterwards as well. So there's not just the appointment; it's actually the emails that get sent out.
But on top of that, most systems these days actually require or request at least your mobile number, so that they actually even get the 48-hour or the 24-hour text that says, hey, remember you've got that call. So there is very little possibility of that call being null and void, which is a really good thing. And if it is, then hey, bonus, you know, you end up with a 45-minute session that you didn't expect to have. But the chances of that happening are rare. And that's you managing your time. One of the best things for me, because speakers, authors and coaches, particularly coaches, depending on where your niche is, we are usually global. And so people in the States or in Australia or in India or Thailand, wherever they are, they can book you. And again, most software will just adjust and say, hey, that's 7 p.m. your time and 2 p.m. our time.
In their diary, in their time zone, your diary in your time zone, which is a godsend for me because I never know EST and blah. Well, time buddy, that's me. Like I'm so that one. But again, you don't need to do that. And this is just, it takes the thinking out of it. And as far as I'm concerned, that's worth every penny of the tenner I pay on a monthly basis. Yeah. I cannot even begin to tell you. The final thing is really that whole, the forms. Some of the systems, not all of them, actually include forms, and some of them include only very scant or short, kind of almost like a tweet style kind of response. And that may not be what you want, because you may actually use this as a discovery call. So do watch the discovery call training, because actually these two dovetail beautifully. But have a think about, what are the questions? What do I need to know up front? This is the question to ask yourself. What would I like to know up front that allows us to get straight into a conversation? Because that's part of, actually, does it need to be a 45-minute call, or could it be a half-hour call? Usually it can be a half-hour call if you ask the right questions. I'm thinking of Fatima, who comes to our Connect and Create days, who's actually just had a new baby.
I know, congratulations.
If you're watching this. But she runs a
clinic,
reflexology and hypnotherapy and those types of things. And actually, when they bring in a new client in, there's a big onboarding form from a medical health point of view, and actually what you need. So that's when they can, they do use one of our ones that we're going to talk to you about in a minute on their website. But that's the form that goes out before they even get to the clinic. Yeah. And that reduces their time in the clinic because they're not filling it all in. And
but also the professionalism that actually raises the game in somebody else's mind when they receive that. They're feeling cared for before they've even met you. That's vital.
And don't worry about GDPR, because all of the appointment software have now clocked onto this, so they've got the boxes where they tick if you're filling in these forms beforehand, or this information that there's the regulations around that. So you're covering your back all around. Yeah. So we've covered about, why you might want to use them, some of the benefits that you get from using them, and some of you might be thinking, but I don't know why or when I might use it. Yeah. So there's probably 4 main scenarios, lots of ways you can use it, but the 4 main ones that we see are popular. The first one we've gone on about all the time, which is discovery calls.
It just makes sense.
If you have got your target, you're doing a certain amount a month, and you know that they are 30-minute,
Yeah.
you schedule them as a type of ones, and you might just do them every Monday morning.
And if you know that you run over regularly, you might schedule them for 30 minutes, but then actively have the buffer zone in for an hour, so an extra half an hour, so that you know you could add on 15 minutes if you're really getting on with the person. This is what I mean by thinking it through.
Yeah. It might be the fact that you have a platform. So say, for example, I know in the Connection Hub with hashtag opportunity,
yeah.
we have lots of people asking for podcast guests in there. So if you have a podcast and you're actually looking for guests, you might actually have another type of interview discovery slot where you're either seeing are they a good fit for your podcast, or you're actually running the podcast interview.
Yep.
But again, this time where you can actually have that allocated in the scheduling software,
Yeah.
so they can book in for those exploration or actually delivery calls. So it's great if you are doing Facebook Lives, webinars, podcasts, to actually get those appointments booked in.
Yeah.
And with Helena saying,
Yeah.
giving the Zoom link or whoever it is that you're...
And the bit I'm going to say about that is of course, part of the prep for that is, you know, you might have had a whole show of interest, for example, by putting a post out, hashtag opportunity, inside the Connection Hub. You might then have a whole bunch of things. You write the single email that say, hey, I'm so glad that you are interested. Click on this link here in order to book your kind of, you know, the 10-minute chat or whatever it is that we're doing. So it allows you to actually share that link out wherever you're actually putting it, and that's really important, which, by the way, slightly different, but you can embed all of these in your website as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also when we do our professional insight interviews for Changemaker for
Sure.
our membership, we have a certain blurb that once they've booked in to actually have an interview with us, we go, can you please send us the bio, the headshot, the links, the blah, 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 which is pretty standard, the questions that we're going to ask you. That can all be automated by using this software.
Ta-da!
So the other thing is what we mentioned before is actually just pure client coaching delivery calls.
Yeah.
So if you're doing a lot of your coaching via you know, Zoom or wherever, or even if you're meeting at a members club or your office, you've got those set times in the diary, which again will send out the Zoom links, the office address, the blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But they're for your regular coaching clients, so they can actually get their whole year maybe booked in.
Yeah.
Of a monthly or weekly or whatever calls, or at least for the 3-month program, they can get that done.
That's it.
So you know where they stand.
And that's especially useful so we just ran, inside Changemaker, we just ran a monthly spotlight on running group programs. So especially if you've got a group program that includes a 40-minute call, for example, on a monthly basis, and you have 12 people, you don't want to be organising that with 12 people here, there and everywhere. You basically go, first come, first served, here are the slots, off you go, right?
And that's another way to use this, is for that group coaching calls.
Yeah.
Or it could be, we've got some people that run classes, for example, and you actually have, rather than all go to an Eventbrite page, you've actually got here where you can log in and see when those classes are taking place, and actually, you know, do more of a group booking rather than individual, where you can see how many spaces are left for that group, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So there are various ways that you can use it, but the main thing is just to streamline, automate, take the frustration, and actually get in the energy of making sure your conversions happen for any of your marketing, prospecting or delivery calls, so that people show up.
That's right.
Right? As well,
That's right.
Think, I didn't get the reminder, I forgot about this.
Because everybody hates wasted time. Even the people who don't show up, because they'll feel a tiny bit of guilt. And why would you want that to happen? So, you know, well, some of them might not, but, you know, most of the time, it's because I forgot, because you know, whatever it actually is. Life gets in the way sometimes, but at least this way, you are giving them every opportunity to not have that happen.
Yeah. So what we've done for you is we've created a download of a little matrix of not all of the
by no means
out there, but the ones that we've used and do use, and the ones that we know become highly recommended for more speakers, authors and coaches.
Yeah.
Looking at which integrates with your website, what does emails, what can have links and automation, all that stuff done.
Yeah.
So this one here shows you the prices, the features, of some of the top ones out there, so you can actually just start exploring.
And most of them are, like I said at the very beginning, most of them do a free trial of some kind, because actually for some of you, you're going to get on better with some of the systems than with other systems, and that's completely fine. It might even be that you go, hang on a minute, I only do PayPal, so that means that like 3 of the others are already out by the very default of that. So check it out. But the answer is you need one. That's non-negotiable.
Basically. So the link's in the comments. I'll put it in the description of this as well. But do check out that download.
Yeah.
And let us know. Tell us in the comments which one what you're using, what
Yeah.
you've decided to use, which one you recommend and why, so that this goes
And
out
indeed,
to
the
hub.
feature that you might be using in a really in a way that really is helping you.
People are already downloading it. I can see
Right,
things
that's
coming.
great. Yay, that's cool.
So we look forward to seeing some of you who are on the live at the Christmas party tonight.
Hello.
And then Helena's not going to be on the live next week.
No, I'm
because
going to
she's
be in Scotland, up with one of our colleagues and helping her run the boot camp that they're running up there. So for those of you watching in Scotland, even on the replay, I'll see you next week.
And then our last live of the year will be on the
17th.
17th. I don't want to say 14th. And we encourage everybody to be watching that one, because that's when we give out our awards to our Connection Hub members. It could be you.
It could be you, which is really how it goes. What's Amy
Oh,
saying?
no, it's Alison. Sorry, can't make the Christmas party. I'll see you in Croquet Confidence in January.
That sounds amazing, is all we can say.
Thanks everyone for the wishes. We won't. Well, I'm teetotal, so I won't get drunk tonight. But I'm sure the others will.
That is acceptable. Many blessings to all of you, and we will catch you, well, she will catch you
I'll see you
live
next
next week, and I will see some of you in Scotland next week.
Have a good week, everyone.